Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Engineer Your Energy. My name is Caroline Milton. I'm the owner of Milton Coaching Collective, and I want to first wish you a happy Pride. It is June 1st. It is the start of Pride Month. And I know that for a lot of my clients that they are planning some really neat ways of celebrating Pride this month. And if you're celebrating Pride, I want to hear in the comments, what are some of the things that you're doing? I'll be attending the Kansas City Pride Festival next weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. It'll be my first time attending here in Kansas City. So today I want to talk about the importance of inclusion. I felt this was very timely as June does honor Pride. It also honors Juneteenth, and we're also focusing on brain health this month. And I thought, what a neat way of connecting all of these different things and awarenesses that June holds by talking about the importance of inclusion and how we prevent burnout. You see, our workplaces are becoming beautiful and diverse. And the more diverse that we get, the more important it is that we're having conversations around the question of how do we ensure that we are being as inclusive as possible. Now, regardless of what your DEI policy is, if you have a DEI policy, if burnout is plaguing your workplace, which for many organizations it is, then you can't implement a burnout prevention approach that doesn't consider inclusion. It will fall flat. And the reason for that is the importance of belonging. You see, we as humans need to belong. It's part of our in-group, out-group. We need a sense of community. When we feel like we are an outsider, when we feel like we are a part of that out-group, it raises our stress level. It puts us on alert. So it puts us in a position where we're more prone to experience chronic stress. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the difference between acute stress and chronic stress occurs in time domains of greater than 2 hours. So from start to finish of the stress event, then greater than 2 hours, then you are in a position of chronic stress. The more we experience chronic stress, the more we are prone toward burnout. So imagine if you're going into work for an 8-hour workday, if you're going into work for a 10-hour workday, if 40 hours or more of your week is spent in an environment where you are feeling like an outsider, that's 40 hours of your week where you are prone to chronic stress. Now, that's not to say that all 8 of your hours are spent in stress activation, but it is quite unnerving to be in a place that doesn't accept who you are, that asks you to be someone else, that asks you to adhere to ways of working or ways of behaving that don't align with who you are. Now, of course, we want to build a culture of work that strives towards business performance. And that's why it's important to collaborate with all different walks of life that represent your employee force and that also represent your consumer force, right? Who are your clients? Who are your consumers? Who's buying your product or your service? You want to ask, what are the ways of working that support this environment? This can be such an important and critical component of how you prevent burnout, increasing employee engagement, increasing innovation, creativity, and high performance results. In the book, Beating Burnout at Work by Paula Davis, she talks specifically to what she calls the ABCs of burnout. A being autonomy, B being belonging, and C being competence. You cannot implement a successful approach without these 3 critical components. So we can't talk about burnout. We can't talk about the high performance of our teams without considering psychological safety. How are we becoming aware of our biases? How are we becoming aware of some of the patterns of behavior that undercut psychological safety in the workplace? How are we ensuring that we're not asking someone to come to work like us, that we're empowering them to come to work as themselves? This is a big reason why you see burnout rates higher in women versus men or higher in minorities versus majorities, is because of the need to come to work in a place that doesn't feel safe, that doesn't feel supportive, that isn't considering ways of working that meet you where you are. Milton Coaching Collective serves to help organizations identify how can we become more inclusive and belonging so that we can prevent burnout. We're not DEI experts. We're well aware of that. We partner with a lot of DEI experts to ensure that we're being considerate of things that go beyond our world of awareness. However, we focus specifically on burnout and how we can implement more methods of working that prevent burnout. If you're interested in learning more about how we can serve your organization or how we can serve you as an individual, please reach out to us at miltoncc.com. We'd love to explore more of what that partnership could look like. Until next week, you know it, be well.